Greetings. As you are working through your first few assignments, I want to acknowledge that for some of you, the map homework may feel a little intimidating. What I'm finding more and more often is I may be of the last generation that's super comfortable with an atlas or a map. And so some of these homework assignments that are labeled study maps, they're going to at first seem really like, I don't really know how to work my way through this, but bear with me, you're going to get this and it's going to work just fine. I went ahead and pulled up in your class. You've got the assignments. Every single time you open one of the assignment study maps, it'll have a different number and then the actual terminology that goes with that. And then it'll have that within the text. But the important part is the PDF. Now, if you have not downloaded that, printed it on color, which was sort of my suggestion, but I recognize that not all of you have access to a printer, that may be problematic. So I'm going to actually show you how to do this on the actual computer in case you've not printed it. If you scroll down and get to map 4, keep in mind it's literally page after page. So you've got map 3 and then you've got the adjoining map there, and then we get to map 4, which is your first map assignment. Here you've got a little bit of information to start with, and then you've got the questions. All right, what you first need to recognize is that I'm going to acknowledge that this particular paragraph does not give you a whole lot of information. So I would encourage you, feel free, use Google, look up these words, look up the words hominin, look up Miocene, look up Pleistocene and Pleistocene, look up all these words if you want to, if it'll help you feel a little bit more of a grasp of what's happening here. But as you work through the questions, you're going to notice right away there are several questions that go with each of the individual questions. It's such an annoying thing that we do in higher ed. But the first question includes how many African countries have early hominin or hominid sites? Now, we've already established that the early hominins is what this whole map is about. So if you scroll down, you're going to be able to tell, okay, so the map is talking about these different countries. You've got them labeled there because really you don't have any labels outside of what you need for this particular assignment. So by my count, you have Chad, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, and South Africa. So that's 5 different countries where you find those early hominin and hominid sites. And then you're going to start breaking it down. Which countries contain sites of hominins that may not have been hominins? And so essentially what you've got to do is compare the information in the paragraph up top. Go down and look at your key, which again, this is something that with Google, we don't need a key. Google tells us everything. And so when I use Google Maps to travel and go see family, I'm not having to use a map legend or anything like that or a key. Here, you're going to need to use the key so that you have a better understanding of exactly what we're looking at. And that is really tight as far as it looks really small, but the square that's green is late Miocene localities. The next one below it looks like a red to me. That's Pliocene localities, and then the triangle is early and middle Pleistocene localities. So you've got 3 different things that you're going to be able to find there, and you're going to need to then answer the questions based on that. I don't know that this totally demystified everything for you, but essentially it's saying, okay, look at the map, look at the key, now understand and give us some feedback. How many countries have these sites? Okay, we've already counted that. That's 5. And then you're supposed to label which, or be able to put in your homework assignment for the next answer, which countries contain sites of hominins that may not have actually been hominins. And so you're going to look through those sites because hominins, that's the earliest ancestors of modern humans. And so you can kind of look through some of that, get an idea. Then name the 2 sites, which is great because now it's essentially already told you there's 2. Go in there and find the 2. And then how many African countries have sites for the Miocene? And again, you're just basically showing I can read a map key and translate it on the map. And so how many of those countries, how many of them have Pliocene and then the Pleistocene? And so you kind of work your way through that. Here's the deal. I recognize that sometimes this is really intimidating, and I really feel like I shouldn't have said that so much because now now, well, I wasn't intimidated and now I am. Don't be intimidated. This is essentially an exercise. This gives you an opportunity to work through your map reading skills. And as you continue to work through it, we're going to get much more modern, much more applicable to your everyday life, and frankly, much more applicable to culture. But this is just a really good exercise to get you started through it. Please don't let this panic you too much. You have 3 of these in your first unit for this particular scenario, so hopefully this will make a whole lot of sense for you. If you have some other questions, let me know. But best of luck to you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.